So I want to be able to pronounce where we are correctly. So could
Sure.
you please help me with that?
Absolutely. So today you're visiting BAPS Swaminarayan Akshardham, which is an entire campus with various elements. We're standing in the Nilkant Plaza, in which the 49-foot sacred image of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, when he was a child yogi, is standing right behind us.
Now tell me about their journey.
Absolutely. So, at the age of 11, Nilkant Burney left his home after the passing of his parents, and for over a 7 year time period in India, starting from North India and literally walking across 8,000 miles until his ultimate journey in Western India. He had a journey where he was inspiring people to live with conservation, inspiring people to live a life of integrity, and these numerous values throughout his journey over there. He started his journey actually in North India at the Himalayas, where you see him doing a tree pose currently. And for 6 months, he did this meditation, serving as a reminder that the human body is fully capable of doing anything it desires to do. And if we have that focus, that determination, really anything is possible.
Now, do you practice yoga? I mean, are you able to do a tree pose or anything? Or
I can do a little bit. I am
okay,
not a practitioner by any sense
okay.
of the imagination, but it is something that it is ingrained in the Hindu faith and is a practice to help with meditation and other means.
And we were talking about deities earlier,
Yes.
and I thought maybe there were 12, but you said there's maybe 10, and then like over 3.3 million. So tell us the distinction there.
Absolutely. So we do believe in Hinduism there are many deities. That 3.3 million figure is something that has been written in scriptures and other pieces of literature. The idea being that gods or deities are throughout the universe and helping with all the different elements. However, when I mentioned the number 10, those are the different avtaras of Lord Vishnu and his different incarnations throughout time period. Those are ones that are well known, whether it's Lord Rama, Krishna Bhagwan, etc., etc. Bhagwan Swaminarayan we believe to be a deity as well who came in 1781 in North India, and it is his faith, the Swaminarayan faith, through which we follow.
And what are some of the, I guess, the foundations of that?
Absolutely. The foundations are living with a universal value base, which is being a good human, serving society, living in harmony with others, always providing a helping hand, and of course, living a life that is centered around God, centered around morality, and centered around spirituality. So, whether it's national, local, we try to help where we can. And the idea is, if you could serve society, you're serving God within them. The idea is God resides in all of us, and so by serving your fellow humankind, you're actually serving God that resides within that person.
And how many volunteers participated in over 12 years, right?
Over the span of 12 years, over 12,500 volunteers of all walks of life, whether young, old, male, female, students, retirees, and everything in between, professionals and lay workers. Everyone kind of came together as one family to kind of help put this place together from all the elements, from what we saw in the Nilkant Plaza and what we will go ahead and see in the Akshardham Mahamandir itself.
Now, this is beautiful, this gateway. Tell me about this.
So we have a similar gateway that's right across there. So there's almost two entry points, whether you're coming from there or from there. The idea being, a gate is a nice entry point. Again, tying the architectural elements that you see throughout the campus, whether it was at the plaza, whether it's there, and as we enter inside. You'll see a predominance of animals throughout, because the idea is if we could live in harmony, not with just humans, but with nature. I mean, right now we're going through, potentially a crisis through global warming because of our lack of maybe appreciation of our environment, of the animals. But if we could live in harmony with the whole world, not with just ourselves, but we could live in harmony with plant life, with flora and fauna, with animals, then the conservancy that we want or we wish to have can sustain and persist through. And so elephants are an important part of both culturally as well as even in the temple building process. Right now we're able to use bulldozers and cranes and all that, but the cranes of yesteryear were the elephants. And so as a homage to their sacrifice, despite being so strong, being very intelligent, their humility in serving others is a reminder that we too should remain humble as well.
We were just so astounded by everything that we just saw today. But then we decided we were going to talk about the foundation. So explain to us what's underneath this wonderful temple.
So as you can imagine, that's a lot of stone, a lot of weight. So the foundation had to be twice as strong to be able to maintain and hold up this structure so it doesn't sink and doesn't crack and doesn't fall apart. In order to do that, back in 2012, a company and between BAPS and an outside company, they put together what is to date the single largest single-day concrete pour in the state of New Jersey. Over 800 truckloads came through, literally one per minute for over 13 hours, so that they could pour the foundation, and in places it goes down 50, 60, 70 feet. And in order to do that, the logistics, the thought, making sure the weather is good, taking into account trucks that break down, how are they going to make up for that? Because if you didn't stick to that schedule, right, the foundation itself would not necessarily hold up over time. And luckily, and with God's blessings, it couldn't have gone any better than it did. And today we're seeing the results of that 12 years later, with what you see behind us.
Incredible. I mean, because it's heavy. The whole thing's stone. So you've got to be placing it on a foundation that's like rock solid. So I see BAPS. Is that an acronym?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The full name is a little bit hard to pronounce, so that's why we stick with the acronym, but it stands for Bocha Sanvasi Akshardham Swaminarayan Sanstha, BAPS. So that is our foundation of where it started from in 1907. So just over 110 or so odd years, 120 so odd years ago, to where it is now. So that's where the faith comes from, because there are different Swaminarayan faiths. The one we particularly follow, where this campus is dedicated to, is the BAPS Swaminarayan faith.
We keep talking about universal values, and the foundation of those universal values, at least in the Hindu faith, is called the Vedas, which are a set of 4 different scriptures. And those scriptures are actually manifestations you can see on each of the corners. But this entire path that we walked on, it's called the Vedic path, and it's a place where you start looking upwards to the skies, and you start understanding your own, hopefully you start contemplating and understanding your own spirituality, your own self, your own being, and how we fit into this universe. So this entire path that we just walked across is called the Vedic path, in homage to those 4 scriptures, which are the foundation for Hindus, for those universal values. And then as we walk, not up the stairs, but around, those universal values are not a possession of Hinduism. Those universal values are universal. That's the reason we say they're universal. And they're reflected not just they're reflected by people from all backgrounds. And we've paid homage to that by having 42 or 48, do you remember the number, Yogesh? Over 40 individual plaques, and we'll show you some of them from, yes, they're Hindu sages and seers, quotes from them, but also we have quotes from Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King, Rumi, Buddha, other Hindus and non-Hindus, to reflect that, hey, look, why are we here together? Because we have this common basis, we have these common values, and we want to make sure that, yes, this is dedicated to Bhagwan Swaminarayan, but this is a place for everybody, and however you can connect to it, if you can connect here and leave here with a positive message and a positive thought, then your trip, your journey is fulfilled.
So now we just came into the Welcoming Center, yes, and tell us about this room and where we are.
Absolutely. So the Welcome Center is based out of a 17th century architectural style in Western India, predominantly found in the states of Gujarat and Rajasthan, known as Haveli. Haveli has been historically known as a welcoming place, usually in front of palaces or other places of worship, where the first point of contact to the temple is this Welcome Center, where you could kind of become acclimated with what the campus is about. If this is your first time, what is the Swaminarayan faith? Who is Bhagwan Swaminarayan? What is this campus all about? You kind of get a little bit of that information there. And for those who've been here often, it's almost like a welcoming place, in the sense that there's this Sanskrit chant or hymn that says, Atiti Devo Bhava. which means treat your guest as if they were God. And so the concept of welcoming everyone as if they were God, with respect, with love, with compassion, trying to help them understand with their journey, whether it's through self-realization, just understanding more about the culture or the religion. And so this place acts as that, where you could physically get more information, whether you wanted to get it from the Visitor Information Center. There's an orientation theater that we'll actually go to as well, just to get acclimated with what the whole campus is about. So we'll see that, as well as you get to see the person who inspired and had the vision of building this BAPS Swaminarayan Akshardham in North America. It's His Holiness Pramukh Swami Maharaj, who was the visionary behind it, and the smaller image that you see in front is the current spiritual leader of BAPS, His Holiness Mahant Swami Maharaj, who inaugurated this whole campus in October 2023, so not too long ago. He was here during the opening festivities, and so this is kind of that setting place that people get to understand. We were talking about Bhagwan Swaminarayan up there, and what God promised us was that he'll never leave Earth. So while his mortal body may have left in 1830, through a lineage of God-realized Swamis, he currently persists. And so we believe through Mahant Swami Maharaj, we can experience that same Bhagwan Swaminarayan through his interactions, through his communications, through his teachings.
Now, I was sharing that my son Matthew
Yes.
and his roommate Vedant. Matthew is studying aerospace engineering at the University of Michigan, and just recently there was something like connected to that in here.
Absolutely. So there was I believe, a space mission. Whether I'm not sure the details, but I can find that out for you. But as part of that launch, one of the key members of that team was someone of the BAPS faith, and so he wanted to put something out there in space that would kind of stay there forever. And so there was a small plaque with the BAPS Swaminarayan Akshardham logo or image on it, as well as of our late Guru, His Holiness Pramukh Swami Maharaj, that persist in space, with the idea being that let good spread throughout and let it always persist throughout, always glancing on Earth to help everyone kind of find that peace, that harmony, that love for each other.